Hi guys, welcome to series 2 of the blog. Here's part 2 of myself and Caroline's audio blog. So how do you find it in shops and stuff going down your local high street? Has it improved?
Improved? It's got worse. Shops, with the recession, shops cram their floor space with as many rails as possible to try and sell as many products as possible. But not just wheelchairs, but buggies as well. What space do we have to get around the shops? We don't. Now, admittedly, there are a handful of shops that are more than willing to move rails out of the way. But as a shopper, why should you have to have that happen? You should be able to just walk in, or in our case, wheel in, and browse around to our heart's content, and be able to get around. I know they're not around anymore, but places like Woolworths, Robert Dyer's, and shops like that have solid stationary shelving, you're supposed to have a minimum of 4 feet between each aisle. That's fine. They have their 4 feet space. But what they then decide to do is these wire massive big baskets, Iceland's the worst for it, and they stick them down the aisles. So you are no longer having that 4 feet of space. And I just get so angry because they want to sell. I appreciate that we all need money and they want to sell whatever they can and as much as they can. But hello, a little consideration for your actual customers. And as for pedestrians, well, I had one stupid, excuse my language, but I was down my local high street and it was quite a busy day. I think I might have been there on a Saturday, I don't know, big mistake anyway. And I'm walking down the street and this woman comes flying up behind me, and because there is somebody, I don't know them, but there's somebody walking almost beside me, she cuts between my chair and this other person and literally clambers onto my lap to get ahead of me. I just wished I was going a bit slower than normal so I could have sped up and hit her ankle. I said, "Oh, sorry, didn't realise you wanted to sit on my lap. Feel free."
See, that's the thing, I get that quite a lot. People walking in front of you and it's like you're not even there.
Oh, exactly. You know? Like I said, we don't exist. We should be back in the 60s. You're hidden away in some asylum. I'm here, I'm proud, I'm loud, and you're not going to miss me. You're going to hear me coming, let alone see me, you'll hear me coming.
You want special treatment, do you?
No, I believe I'm entitled to the same rights as an able-bodied person. If you want my custom, I should be able to get into your shop, browse around, not feel intimidated that I've got to be, "Excuse me, can you move this for me?" A shop assistant comes along to move the rail. People do stop to look at what's happening. I don't want that kind of attention. I want to be able to, okay, I know it's not that easy being in a wheelchair, but you want to blend in with the crowd. You just want to be another shopper. You know, you don't want, well, me personally, I don't want special treatment. I don't want rails to have to be move for me. They shouldn't be there in the first place. You know, you align your shop in such a way that you've got plenty of room. And this goes for buggies as well. You know, I'm not talking about just wheelchair users. What about these parents that have had twins or whatever and they've got double buggy? They're wider than a wheelchair. A lot wider. So how do they cope? So, you know, on that score, it's not just disabled people that they're hitting as such. It's a big market. I mean, parents with children. You've got to buy children's clothes. You've got to buy children's shoes. They want toys. They want, you know, parents. They are a major market out there. You alienate them from your shop, you've lost a big cut of your custom. I know wheelchair users is probably a small minority in comparison, but the principle is still the same.
Talking about buggies, you get on the bus, right? You've seen a buggy, blah de blah, and you know there's enough room for you, so you get on as well, right? Only to find out that the buggy's empty yeah, and the parent is sat with their child on a normal seat. If you're gonna sit with your child on a normal seat, surely you should have folded the buggy up. But most of the time, the impression that I get is that people just can't be bothered.
I totally agree with you, but as a person who used to be able to walk and used to use a buggy on a bus, not that my son was ever out of his buggy when we were on a bus anyway, because I couldn't physically do that. But seeing the situation, if the space is not needed and you did want to have your child sitting on your knee, I don't have a problem with them leaving their buggy in that space empty. What I do though have a problem with is they see you in a wheelchair, you get on the bus and they still refuse to put down the buggy. That I disagree with. Once they see you getting on the bus, it should be common courtesy, knowing that you need that space, to turn around and say, 2 seconds, love, I'll put the buggy down. Not a problem. But they don't. And the other thing that really gripes me, and I've seen this a few times, especially on the H20, you get these women on the buses, they've got a buggy full of nothing but shopping.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
where's the child? Nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
They don't even have the child with them.
Yeah.
That infuriates me all the more, because they've got like 20 bags of shopping attached to this buggy. How the buggy is still standing is beyond me. So of course they're in no position to be able to lift off every single one of those bags to fold the buggy down, because where do they then put their shopping? They can't put it in the middle of the aisle. It's too much like hard work for them. I get that too, but my attitude is, well then don't use the buggy for that. Walk it. Because the H20 route, for most of the shoppers, they're going to Tesco and they're going into the estate. It's not that far of a walk. Believe me, it's not. And you know that. And I'm like, okay. Hop it, love, you know. And then they turn away like they haven't even seen you. Hello? I'm in a big, damn electric chair. How can you miss me? You know, I ain't Miss Flipping Twiggy of the Year either. So how can you miss me? And I'm there, getting on the bus. Excuse me, sorry, mind your toes, I don't want to run over them. Oh, bit of a giveaway, don't you think? So that is what infuriates me. I can appreciate a mother, father, whoever, sitting with a child on their lap and leaving the buggy where it is. It is convenient. Because you know what the drivers are like. They don't always give you enough time to get on and off.
No.
So I appreciate that. But what I do disagree with is, I know I'm repeating myself here, but what I do disagree with is the fact that they see you get on and they still refuse to put the buggy down, knowing it's empty. That I disagree with. That infuriates me. But what infuriates me all the more on situations like that is the driver, the bus driver, because it's his bus. He should be the one to turn around and say, wheelchair needs the space, could you fold your buggy down, please? But they don't. They leave it to us to sort out for ourselves. So the next time, I'm just going to park myself in the middle of the aisle. If I don't like it, I say, well, there's a buggy there.
What I love is on certain buses, they let everybody on, and then, you know, you get on and it's quite empty, and they keep letting people on with buggies and stuff. And before you know it, by the time I've got to get off, there's about
like two or three buggies around you.
2 or 3 buggies around you. So it's like, oh crap, how am I going to get out of this one?
Exactly.
You know. But then on the other hand, if it wasn't for people like that, I probably would have had to wait another half an hour.
Well, not if
for
you've
another
got on
bus.
first, which is normally what happens.
Yeah.
But I must admit, actually, I've had that situation. Probably just once, I think, maybe twice. And I have to say, the people with the buggies have been excellent. They have turned around and said, hang on, I'll get off and let you out.
Yeah.
And they've said to the driver, I'm just getting off to let the wheelchair out.
Yeah.
I must admit. But that is far and few between.
Yeah.
But then I don't get the buses as often as you do, because I don't like it. Because I hate I feel I'm volunteering myself into that type of situation. But again, I shouldn't be feeling that, but I am. You know? Can't help it. I feel that, you know, I've put myself in the situation. Technically, I haven't.
No.
Society has put me in this situation. And no, that's not saying, oh, it's society's fault, I'm owed a living, blah,
I was
blah,
about
blah.
to say that. I was about to say that. You
That's
don't
not what I'm saying.
Mm.
But it's the bus companies, because they don't make the space quite big enough. They stick that bar down the centre of the space, which makes it almost impossible to manoeuvre in and out of it. The amount of armrests that the pads that I've ripped, because I've tried to squeeze into this little space, and they've hit off the bar or a seat or whatever. They're not practical, they're not logical, and they're not clever. And neither are the managers or the designers that decided this space is big enough. And they give you the measurements on the TfL website of maximum size of a wheelchair user or vehicle that you want to put in that space. No way can a vehicle of that size fit in. My chair is about 10 inches shorter and thinner and what have you than the measurements that they give you.
Mm.
So it's got to be a fabrication.